Chapter 3, Meeting Kakashi. Kaizen approached cautiously, adopting a friendly facade. He knew the importance of blending in, of appearing approachable and harmless. As he neared the group, he put on a light, cheerful expression. "Hi, can I join you?" he asked, his voice bright and inviting. Kakashi turned to him, his gaze piercing despite his youth. For a moment, Kaizen felt as though those dark eyes were seeing right through his facade, evaluating him with the same intensity he himself had used moments before. "Sure," Kakashi replied, his tone neutral and measured. Kaizen joined the game, blending seamlessly with the other children. He moved with agility, careful not to draw too much attention to his own abilities. The courtyard was alive with laughter and the sounds of feet pounding against the dirt. Kaizen darted among the other children, his eyes always on Kakashi. He would change direction suddenly, trying to tag Kakashi in unexpected ways, or use feints to throw him off balance. Each time, Kakashi responded with exceptional reflexes and strategic thinking. His movements were precise and efficient, wasting no energy. Kaizen found himself both intrigued and impressed. Every move Kakashi made was calculated, a testament to his natural talent and perhaps early training. Despite the playful nature of the game, there was a focus in Kakashi's eyes, a determination that mirrored Kaizen's own mindset. This boy was not just playing, he was honing his skills, practicing his reflexes and tactics even in this innocent setting. Their game of tag became a silent duel of sorts, a test of wits and agility. Kaizen would attempt to corner Kakashi, only to find himself outmaneuvered at the last moment. Kakashi's agility and strategic dodges kept him just out of reach, his movements a blend of speed and finesse. Conversely, Kakashi would try to tag Kaizen, only to be thwarted by a quick dodge or unexpected move. The other children laughed and shouted, oblivious to the deeper game being played between the two boys. Kaizen experimented with different approaches. He would suddenly accelerate, then stop abruptly, hoping to catch Kakashi off guard. When that didn't work, he tried circling around, attempting to force Kakashi into a corner. But Kakashi was always one step ahead, his eyes never losing sight of Kaizen, reading his intentions with uncanny accuracy. Kaizen's own training kicked in, his mind racing with strategies. He utilized feints, pretending to stumble or slow down, only to burst forward with renewed speed. Each maneuver was met with Kakashi's equal and opposite reaction, a dance of anticipation and counter-movement that left both boys just out of reach of each other's tag. The playful shouts of the other children provided a lively backdrop to their intense interaction. Some kids paused to watch the two boys, mesmerized by their speed and skill, but most continued their carefree games, blissfully unaware of the high-stakes match unfolding in their midst. After some time, the game began to wind down, and the children dispersed to different activities. Kaizen and Kakashi found themselves standing near a tree, both slightly out of breath, but with a spark of understanding in their eyes. They had recognized something in each other's potential skill, and perhaps a kindred spirit. Their breathing heavy but controlled, they stood in silence for a moment, the mutual respect between them palpable. Kakashi's expression was neutral, yet his eyes held a glimmer of acknowledgement and curiosity. Kaizen, his heart still racing from the exertion, gave a small nod, an unspoken agreement that this was only the beginning of their encounters. In that brief exchange, a foundation was laid, one of rivalry, camaraderie, and mutual growth. For Kaizen, it was a promising start in this new world. For Kakashi, it was the recognition of a peer who could match his pace and challenge his abilities. Both knew that the games had just begun, and with them, the shaping of their futures. As they stood there, the sun casting long shadows across the courtyard, Kaizen felt a flicker of excitement. This encounter had shown him that this world held formidable challenges and worthy opponents. Although Kakashi cannot be categorized as the norm, it certainly highlighted that even the children of this world had immense capacity to be dangerous, making the opponents Kaizen faced in his previous world pale in comparison. What interested Kaizen most was the fact that he would now have the ability to improve beyond the previously set human limitations he dealt with in his last life. "I wonder what I can accomplish with this new set of rules," Kaizen silently pondered to himself. After the game of tag, the children began to disperse. Kaizen noticed a tall figure approaching the courtyard, moving with a grace and confidence that only a seasoned shinobi possessed. It was Sakumo Hatake, Kakashi's father, known throughout the village as the White Fang of the Leaf. Sakumo's presence commanded attention, and the children's chatter quieted as he walked towards them. He smiled warmly at the group of children, but his gaze lingered on Kaizen. Something about the boy intrigued him, an aura of focus and determination that stood out among his peers. "Kakashi," Sakumo called, his voice calm and authoritative. Kakashi immediately looked up and jogged over to his father. Kaizen, standing a short distance away, observed the interaction with keen interest. As Kakashi reached his father, Sakumo's eyes met Kaizen's. For a moment, they simply regarded each other. There was a depth in the young boy's gaze that belied his age, a silent intensity that Sakumo recognized. Sakumo nodded in acknowledgement. "Hello there," he said to Kaizen, his tone friendly. "I don't believe we've met. What's your name?" Kaizen nodded respectfully. "My name is Kaizen, sir." Sakumo smiled. "It's good to meet you, Kaizen. You seem quite agile." Kaizen responded with a polite smile. "Thank you, sir." As Sakumo placed a hand on Kakashi's shoulder and turned to leave, he couldn't shake a feeling, a subtle instinct honed by years of experience. There was something different about this boy. As they walked away, he spoke quietly to his son. "Kakashi, tell me more about that boy," Kaizen Sakumo said, his tone thoughtful. Kakashi glanced back at Kaizen, who was now watching them leave. "Today was my first time meeting him, but he's different from the others. He's very skilled and always seems to be observing everything around him." Sakumo nodded, his mind briefly pondering the impression Kaizen had made on him. "I sensed something about him. He has a presence that's unusual for someone his age. I want you to befriend him, Kakashi. He seems like someone who could push you to become better, just as you could push him." Kakashi nodded slowly, absorbing his father's words. "I will, father." As they continued their walk home, Sakumo's thoughts briefly lingered on Kaizen. The boy's calm demeanor and intense gaze hinted at something special. Sakumo's instincts told him that encouraging Kakashi to befriend Kaizen could be beneficial for both boys, fostering a friendship that could help them grow and challenge each other. As Kaizen watched Sakumo Hatake walk away with Kakashi, his mind began to dissect the brief interaction. The man's presence had been imposing, commanding respect with every step. It wasn't just his reputation as the White Fang of the Leaf that made him formidable, it was the aura of quiet confidence and the razor-sharp awareness that seemed to radiate from him. So that's Sakumo Hatake, Kaizen thought, his analytical mind already comparing the reality to the stories he remembered reading in his previous life. Sakumo's demeanor matched what he had expected: composed, authoritative, and perceptive. He had felt the weight of Sakumo's scrutiny, the subtle probing behind his friendly questions. This man wasn't one to be easily deceived. Kaizen considered Sakumo's threat level. Despite his calm exterior, there was a latent power in him that Kaizen could sense. It was the kind of power that came from experience and mastery. Sakumo's reputation as a top-tier shinobi wasn't just a product of stories, it was evident in the way he carried himself. Even his casual movements were efficient, betraying the strength and precision he possessed. "He's not one to underestimate," Kaizen mused. Sakumo's instincts were sharp. Kaizen had felt the brief but intense appraisal in Sakumo's gaze. It wasn't often that someone could look at him and see beyond the surface, but Sakumo had done just that, if only for a moment. Comparing this reality to the narrative he knew, Kaizen noted that Sakumo seemed kinder, more approachable than the legend he had read about. The man was known for his formidable skills and tragic end, but here, in this moment, he was a father picking up his son, displaying warmth and genuine concern. It was a reminder that people were more complex than the stories that defined them. "He told Kakashi to befriend me," Kaizen thought, recalling the conversation he overheard. The directive wasn't just a suggestion, it was rooted in Sakumo's instincts. He had sensed something in Kaizen, a potential that aligned with Kakashi's growth. This could work to Kaizen's advantage. Forming a bond with Kakashi could provide him with valuable insights and alliances. Kaizen's thoughts shifted to strategy. He needed to tread carefully, ensuring that his actions fostered trust without revealing too much of his true thoughts. Sakumo's scrutiny had been a test, and Kaizen knew there would be more to come. He needed to balance his growth in this world with the need to remain relatively inconspicuous. A challenge, then Kaizen concluded, feeling a spark of excitement. Navigating relationships, particularly with those as astute as the Hatakeis, would require skill and subtlety. But he was prepared for this. Every interaction, every observation, was a step towards mastering this new world. As he turned away from the departing figures of Sakumo and Kakashi, Kaizen's mind was already calculating his next moves. The Ninja Academy entrance exam was tomorrow, and he needed to be ready. His path was clear: blend in, excel, and build the foundations for his future here. The presence of Sakumo Hatake had only reinforced his resolve, sharpening his focus and fueling his determination.